Welcome to another episode of the Property Nomads podcast. And we're deep diving into women in business. And we've got a very entertaining guest today for you. This lady does a multitude of things, not just property, also has an accounting background and also is a professional model. So loads to talk about today, something a bit different as well. And it's Rachel from CSEE Investments. Rachel, good morning and thank you for your time today.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Really looking forward to deep diving into this because success means a lot of things to different people. And the thing that really got me when we were speaking off air was the modeling aspect and how you've managed to combine modeling and aspects of property and accounting. So I think there's a great fusion there. And that's the thing I think people are going to take away from today. So I guess starting at the beginning, let's start with the modeling. What got you into that line of work in the first place?
Yeah, so I mean, that was something that I started from a really young age. So I was like a child model initially, to do sort of catalogues, was in like the Tesco magazine and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it was just something that I started from a really young age, really. And I think I've always enjoyed working and making money. I just think like for as long as I can remember, that's something I've always liked to do. So yeah, just it's something that started really young and then I kind of just carried it on, to be honest.
I guess that you've grown over time and it's something you just, like you say, you've just kept on. But how do you find moving from sort of Tesco magazines to doing what you're doing now? I guess what I'm trying to say with that is there's so much, it's very easy, on like social media to be a keyboard warrior and whatnot. Have you found that you get a lot of that over time?
I think so. And I think probably more so, I'd say sort of when I was an older teenager and stuff like that, I feel like there's just a lot of keyboard warriors, isn't there? And I think ultimately, if you have a following and you're putting yourself out there doing something, I just think people are always going to have something to say about it. And I guess with modelling as well, it's so based on how someone looks and everyone's going to have their thoughts and opinions and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I feel like it's something that I have had to deal with, but I feel like I've got very used to it. And I just think in many ways for me, if someone's going to be critical about sort of the way I look, if I'm modelling or something like that, I really just try not to take it too personally. I don't know. I just feel like it's just everyone has a different opinion. And I feel like actually my modelling is in many ways sort of separate to me. Like, although it is me, like it's, I don't know, it's sort of separate in many ways. It's a bit strange. I mean, if you're going to, say something about the way I look, I feel like it doesn't make any difference to who I am as a person or that sort of thing. So I try to slightly distance myself from that sort of thing.
Certainly not a model myself. Anyone that's seen me, I'm not trying to degrade myself in any way. So I'm not going to, you won't see me start modeling at any time soon, put it that way. When you talk about compartmentalization, I think that's the right word. When you talk about that, is that something you've learned to do over time? Or is that something that you've been doing from day one when you say it is you, but it's also separate? Have you learned to do that over time?
I mean, I think so. I feel like it's just kind of come naturally over the years of doing it. And I suppose, this is the thing, I've done it from such a young age. So, I mean, like, I think like a lot of people would see my modelling or my social media work and stuff like that and just think, okay, like she's really confident, like she's this particular type of person. But I mean, in real life, I'm very shy. So yeah, it's strange. I almost feel like it's a bit of like an alter ego, isn't it? I suppose. But yeah, I guess, the more that I've done it, the more I've been out there and stuff like that, I have kind of adapted over the years as well.
Moving then on to, I mean, we'll touch back on the modelling at some point to say that's probably going to be the main focus. There's so many questions about that and how we've managed to integrate that successfully with having also an accounting background and also getting involved in property development. So out of property and accounting, which one of them came first?
So it's sort of sandwiched like accounts in the middle. So I mean, property, again, that's something that I feel like has been sort of drilled into me from a very young age. Like my dad was the person who originally taught me about property. It was just something that, he did a bit, he always spoke about. I first became a landlord when I was 19, so I was quite young then. So yeah, I did like a little bit of property first, and then I worked in accountancy for a number of years, and then more recently got back into property and investing. So it's kind of sort of in between the two.
Awesome. So landlady from a very young age, going back to being 19, then how did that feel? How did that feel at the time to be a landlady at such a relatively young age? How did that feel?
I think I wasn't really ready for it. I think I mean, like looking back now, I wish I sort of understood more about it, or understood about, like refinancing and all that sort of thing, because I think it was just sort of a case of I had a flat, I bought the one above me as well, and then I sort of rented it out and did that, and then I went back to America to do some modelling and stuff. So I just had them there rented, but I haven't kept hold of them or anything. So I mean, I think it was good. It was a good learning experience, but in some ways I just wish I knew more about it back then, because I feel like if I did, I probably would have kept them, just been able to sort of utilise the situation a bit more, I suppose.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know. I always maintain, if I look back at certain things in our family as well as certain periods of time, snapshots, and knowing what I know now, if I'd have known that back then, certainly a lot of things could have changed. But again, I suppose, the past is there to appreciate it, to learn from it, and we shouldn't beat ourselves up about that as such.
Yeah.
The fusion of modelling, so modelling and property. Before we go back to the modelling, actually, let's focus on. Let's shift over to property. So property development is something that you've got into. So how is that going? What have you learned so far, and what are you doing at the moment?
Yeah, so it's going well. It's something that I've always been interested in doing, and I was really excited, I suppose, recently to have the opportunity to throw myself into it. So actually just the other week, we exchanged contracts on my next project, which is quite a good sized project, I'd say. So it's going to be a 7-bed HMO / holiday let, and also a commercial unit. So this is a joint venture with myself and another company I work with called Target 5 Property Consultants. So I'm really excited to get into that. I've actually filmed a little tour and stuff on my YouTube, if anyone would like to see what it looks like. But I'm just sort of going to be documenting the whole process. We set a delayed completion actually of the 12th of April. So that's when we'll probably start work on it and everything. But I'm really excited about that. It's sort of right in the centre of town, really, really lovely historic building and stuff as well. So I think it's going to be a really good transformation. And I just feel really lucky to have the opportunity to be doing something like this with some very experienced developers, so I can sort of learn along the way with them, which is really nice. I mean, they've done hundreds of these, but for me, this is my first mixed-use one. I just think it's really good to be able to learn with them, and we're using development finance and things like this, which is something that I've personally never used before. So I'm just really getting involved, getting right in there, and just learning the process, really.
Great times. So in terms of the JV, because again, for people that are not overly familiar with what a JV is, joint venture normally involves two parties or two or more parties working together. Is this a case of they're putting in the finance and you're using your time, you're putting your finance in, they're using their time, or is it just how have you managed to structure this particular JV so it benefits all parties? So it's kind of it's a bit of a combination of both.
this is something that I've put money into, and helping raise finance for it and things like that. They are actually dealing with the project management side. Although they are dealing with that, I definitely want to get involved, as I say, sort of learn along the way and everything like that. So yeah, we're doing it like that. And then also there's the side for me, obviously, because I sort of have the social media side of following online and that sort of thing. Where I can, I suppose, sort of bring people in to see what we're doing and do advertising and all that sort of thing. So yeah, it's quite an interesting collaboration, and I think something that works well for both our companies.
And that's the important thing to highlight to people listening, where JVs can be done in numerous ways, can't they? And it's about generating that win-win situation. It sounds like you've got a good thing going there. So it'd be interesting to see how that project pans out.
Yeah, I'm really excited, and it's nice. It's going to be nice to be able to share it with everyone to see. But yeah, I think it was just something that came up, and at the time it felt right. I mean, they're a really lovely company. I really like the directors, Tina and Andy. I have a fixed investment with them anyway, and then I had contacted them to really sort of help me build my portfolio and that sort of thing. And then this particular project came up, and I think it was just something that we were both really happy to work on together. And yeah, just seemed like a really good fit and right timing, really.
Oh, well, hopefully at some point in the future, it'll be great to have you back on the show. Getting a bit preempted there, aren't we? So only about 10 minutes in, and come back for some more. In terms of social medias then, you said that your modelling is separate. So when you say you're going to upload this to social media, are you using the same accounts as you are for your modelling, or have you got a set of social media for property related stuff and then a set of social media for modelling related stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I've sort of merged them a bit now. I mean, I do have separate social medias. So I have like the CSEE Investments Instagram, and more recently the YouTube video, which YouTube channel, which I just set up last week. So that is mainly based on, my property journey, investing, like finances, all that sort of thing. And then I have my Rachel Rain Instagram, which is sort of me, my modeling as well, and that kind of thing. But even on that page, I really do like to incorporate my property stuff, my investing and all that sort of thing, because they are all sort of part of me. And I think originally I did try to keep them really, really separate. But then I thought, do you know what? I might as well just mix them, because they're all different parts of me. And yeah, actually, like, it's been fine. People are interested. I feel like originally I thought I might get sort of negativity from doing that. But yeah, I feel like so far it's been really positive. And I think actually, just as humans, we've all got different sides to us, different things that interest us and that sort of thing. And yeah, I feel like we should be able to share them all and mix it up.
In terms of raising finance for various projects and so forth, did you, when you were merging social medias and starting to introduce sort of overlapping elements as such, was it in your head to raise JV finance from that? Or is that something that, if it happens, great, but it hasn't happened yet? What were your initial thoughts when doing that?
Yeah. I mean, it's quite funny actually, because originally I just thought I'm not going to use investors, because I've got some of my own funds that I'm using for my projects. So I don't know why I thought that, but for originally I was just like, I'll be using my funds for my projects, and that's kind of what I'll be doing. But then off the back of that, I have ended up getting investors and getting quite a lot of inquiries about it. But I think it was because, I was sort of sharing my journey, what I was doing with my money, how I was, making it work for me and that sort of thing. Because I mean, it's something that I'm really passionate about, and I really do believe, everyone should be investing in some way. So yeah, that was something that I was sharing. And then I think off the back of that, because people see you do something, or see you've got a good deal, or that you're, making the money work in a way that they would like, I then had people contact me actually saying, like, how can I invest? How can I get involved in this? Which was quite interesting. And, now I think about it, it works really well. And actually it is a fantastic platform to be able to get investors. Originally it wasn't particularly what I thought about, because I just thought, I'll be using my own money, and then, development finance or whatever it might be.
It's funny you say that, 'cause that seems like from the outside looking in as such, that's a very common theme. If you don't mind me saying so, that people are, using social media, share their journeys, do this, do that. This is what's going on, and obviously we're millions upon millions or billions of locked down, and I use that term loosely at the time of recording. But it's interesting that because people can see what you're doing and the enthusiasm you have for doing it, then people have started to reach out a bit more and gone, oh, hang on a minute, hi Rachel, I've got I don't know, X in the bank. Can you help me? Can we have a chat? So I'd love to hear stories like that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's just interesting, and it's so surprising because I heard people say that, once you start showing what you're doing or, something like that you'll get this. And as I say, with this particular project, we've exchanged and everything, but we haven't even completed on it yet. And I was kind of expecting, okay, maybe when it's finished and people can see sort of a whole bulk of successful work or a project that I've done, then maybe people will start contacting and be interested in investing. But it has been surprising to me that, even already, I've just had so many people get in contact about it, which is really great. It's fantastic, really.
How do you find the time to balance social media use and social media activities with sort of dealing with the grind of property and modelling? Is that a lifestyle balance that you've managed to figure out yet? Have you leveraged aspects out, or do you still do quite a lot of it yourself?
I'm still working on it. I think sometimes being able to work from anywhere, be able to do your work from your phone and all that sort of thing is great. But on the flip side, it can be tricky because, my phone's always in my hand. So, technically I'll be replying to stuff or, be doing various bits of work kind of from the moment I wake up to when I go to sleep. So this is something that I am actually working on at the moment, trying to put in a bit more structure. Just trying to structure my day and week a bit better, really. Because again, I think when it's your own business and if you see an email pop up or you have an idea or something like that, I tend to like to action it right away. I think that's just the type of person I am as well. I just, as soon as I think of something, I'm on the case trying to get it done and sorted.
Different people work in different ways, don't they? So I don't think there's never any right or wrong answer with that, which is intriguing. I've even managed to make myself speechless thinking about it. Trying to think of what question to ask. What question to ask next? So, in terms of property, then you get this project up and running. You say you've got the completion happening in April and so forth. Are you the sort of person that's going to put a lot of focus onto doing this one project, or are you going to start looking at other projects at the same time? How do you think you're going to work as an individual on that?
Yeah, so again, I think this is something that I have been considering. Obviously, as I say, working with Target 5, they are on the lookout for me for other projects that would be suitable. They sort of know the type of thing I'm looking for. So I guess the thing is, you never know when something might come up that's going to be suitable for you. And I think, if something does come up, I'm definitely not going to say no, I don't think. But also, I don't want to take on too much at one time. That's the other thing. And, bearing in mind, these are sort of £1 million projects. That's something I need to bear in mind as well, sort of the cost of them and the fact that they're quite large in some ways for me. So, I think it's just going to be balancing it, see how it goes. I've said to myself, with this project, I'm really happy to take the time just to focus on this, really learn from it, be able to build up funds from it and that sort of thing as well. So I'm more than happy just to focus on this one. But at the same time, if something else did come up that was perfect for me, or I thought, I really want to do that, and it was suitable, I would definitely try to do it as well. But I feel like I'm lucky in the sense that I've got Target 5 who are helping me with all the project management. They're really taking care of a lot of that for me. I feel like sometimes that's the difficult bit, being able to manage the build and get everything in place.
It's one of those things where there's a lot of a lot of learning to be done, and everyone's got their own skill sets, haven't they?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Because I think there's part of me that just thinks, I want to do loads, because I just, as I say, again, it's my personality. I just like to get things done. But at the same time, I do believe that you shouldn't overload yourself. And I think in many ways it probably will be good to, not to do too much at once.
Each person's different, and it's whatever works for you. It's whatever works for you at the end of the day. And it sounds great that you've sort of, again, if you don't mind me saying this, it sounds like for you the first couple of projects or on this scale is get your training wheels sort of there and whatnot, and then over time, as you get used to it, as you get used to things, you might just keep everything as it is, or you might decide to fly the nest, so to speak, and do something a bit different. That's what it sounds like to me. Is that a fair reflection?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, so I sort of feel like my kind of my goal and my aim with it is really to probably have a few properties with kind of multiple units in. So whether it be sort of a HMO or a few flats or that kind of thing, and then I want to be able to keep them and rent them out and that sort of thing. And then again, I'm happy to sort of do flips in between. So the project at the moment, this is going to be one that we are most likely going to sell at the end, which will be nice. And again, it's just a really, really great learning experience. Should have a good amount of profit in it again. So yeah, but I'm happy to learn along the way. And as you say, just sort of, see how it goes, see what I like, see what I don't like. I mean, I might do this and realize that I hate doing HMOs. But yeah, I suppose you never know really until you actually get into it. Because I think you can do a lot of reading, a lot of research and that sort of thing. But until you actually do it, I sort of sometimes think you don't know whether it's really going to be for you or not.
100%. And someone drummed into me a little while ago, you don't know what you don't know. So it's a case of pushing yourself, making yourself feel uncomfortable, and learning from the mistakes, but also learning from the mistakes of others, and just continually pushing yourself. And it sounds like you're doing that across all facets of your life, which is
I think
absolutely
so.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Going back to the modelling then, and I'm gonna sound like, number one, I'm gonna sound like an idiot, okay? But the reason I'm going to sound like an idiot is I want to sort of get my stereotypical hat on and go, when people think of accountants or people in property and stuff like that, a lot of people are going to mainly think of men, because
yes,
it seems to be a male dominated industry. And also these people might have a finance background, accounting background, or might just be a very good entrepreneuress.
Yeah.
But breaking the stereotype with this modelling background, how have you found that? Because you mentioned Target 5 a few times, which is great, and I'm sure you've been speaking to a multitude of people. Do people give you a sort of a funny reaction or a funny look when you mention that you've got a modelling background? To me, that just breaks the mold. So this is goes on to why we've got you on the show, because it's different. But why? How has all that happened? And tell us more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, I suppose with a lot of sort of relationships I have now, they probably potentially come from social media. And as I say, I'm very open with everything I do. So I'm guessing probably by the time they meet me in real life or something like that, they kind of know the different aspects of my work and that sort of thing. But I know, so definitely when I first got into accounting and was working in accountancy jobs in the office and stuff like that, I always sort of thought, I shouldn't share my modelling or say anything about it, because it's not very professional, it's not very like corporate or that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, I feel like in terms of with the accounts and with the property and that sort of thing, I've actually had a really nice positive response from those people. I feel like if anything, sort of the online haters and stuff like that haven't really been professional people in the industry. But yeah, I mean, it's quite nice, and I feel like it has kind of given me the confidence to be more open with it all. Because as I say, I think it was something originally I was kind of nervous about and thought, oh no, I shouldn't do this because are they just going to think it's really unprofessional and not want to work with me. But then, yeah, it has kind of been the opposite, which is quite nice.
And have you been? And I can partially tell from your enthusiasm and the way you're saying things that you've been pleasantly surprised by how people have reacted so far. Is that a fair thing to say as well?
Yes, I think so. Because I think I suppose with stuff like that, as you say, it's the stereotypes and that sort of thing. I feel like I was just always kind of worried that people would be like, oh, she's not going to be any good at doing this. She's, just a model, sort of, stupid model, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are many people who are like that. But ultimately, actually, they're not the sort of people I want to work with anyway. So yeah, but I have been pleasantly surprised.
And in terms of negative comments, and the reason I ask this is because throughout the series, talk about making ourselves uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable asking this question anyway, but here to provide as much great content as possible. Have you ever been on the end, and let's not take into account keyboard warriors as such, because anyone can say or type anything from a keyboard, but in your time of blending property accountancy and modeling, have you ever been on the end of any verbal attacks, people really having a go at you, criticizing you, or any sexist comments, anything like that?
I don't think I have massively, and I don't know whether that's just because, like I say, in real life I'm quite shy. I'm not sort of, I don't know, drawing a lot of attention to myself in real life particularly. Although the thing that I will say I've had kind of the inappropriate comments from men, I hired you because I like how you look sort of thing, and that side of it. But yeah, I don't think I've particularly had too many sort of really nasty comments in real life and stuff, which is good. I mean, maybe I did, but I just didn't say it to my face. I don't know.
Still, I mean, it's even to be told to your face, and again, I'm not a woman. It's difficult for me to put myself in your shoes as such. But even to be told that to your face, oh, I only hired you because I like the way you look. That depends on how you spin it. There is a positive to that, of course. Fantastic. This person thinks I'm very attractive, etc. But also, to me, from the outside looking in, that sounds like that could be quite demeaning or quite derogatory. But I guess it's the way that you want to spin it and the way you want to take it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something that I've noticed, sort of comes with this. And yeah, as you say, I mean, the positive, okay, you've got the job, you've got the deal, fine. But then at the same time, I think I'm a lot more than how I look. Like, I don't want you to just hire me because you like how I look, especially if it's for an accounting job, if it's for a modelling job, fine. But at the same time, I would like people to recognise all the, the hard work that I've put in, or I'm actually good at the actual job, be it, accountancy, property, marketing, I suppose, outside of how I look. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah, and I would imagine so. It's difficult for me to just sit here and go, oh yes, it is, X, Y, and Z, because I'm not in your shoes as such. Moving in slightly on to success and everything like that, because mini-series is celebrating the successes that people are having anyway, and I do feel that because there's again that stereotype is the property industry and so forth is very male dominated, just because I don't know, that's just how it is. So that's the whole purpose of having this series in. What does success mean to you?
So I think really, I would say for me, success is being happy. That's what I think, because I think I don't want to sort of put a figure on it or a certain amount of money and that sort of thing. I think it's really just kind of being happy and comfortable, and I think that can look completely different for a lot of people. And yeah, I think when I was younger, I thought, okay, when I've got a certain amount of money, I'll be happy, or that, that's successful. And, in many ways it is, that is being successful in business, I suppose. But yeah, in terms of actual sort of success of life, I would say it's happiness, really.
And what would make you happy? Because different things make different people happy. So when you say happiness, what is that for you?
Yeah, I think this is something that I'm actually sort of still exploring. Because I feel like recently I was sort of in a position where, I wanted to be. I was kind of happy with how much I was earning, like the situation I was in. So it would sort of be, in many ways, sort of like my ideal situation. Like I'd say, even when I'm earning like 5 times the amount, I'll still be doing the same thing. But yeah, I think I'm still kind of really learning exactly what makes me happy. I mean, I'd say it's just sort of having the freedom to do what I want. For me, it's the simple things. Like I love going out, eating nice food. I like going for walks, being able to spend time with my family. Just to sort of do nice little things like that, I suppose. But then I think something I've learned as well is I do also really enjoy working. I enjoy being passionate about something. And yes, I suppose really getting stuck into something as well. So yeah, I think that's kind of part of it as well. It's not just kind of relaxing to me, even though I suppose originally I thought, okay, no, that's what will make me really happy. But yeah, when it comes to it, I think I like to have a focus as well.
And as you said about happiness, that sometimes that takes a lifetime to really pinpoint down, what it means. For some people, it's financial. As you said, for you, it's these long walks, it's time with the family, and having focus on a particular project or something like that. So that's quite important to understand as well. And then, Rachel, I guess for other people out there, and there might be, hopefully there's a lot of young aspiring women listening to this going, oh, actually I was going to be a model as well. And, oh, I didn't realize that I could mix, say, modeling and property. Love how you've broken this stereotype. You've literally just blasted these barriers down, in my opinion. And what would you say to other people that might be in similar shoes to you? What sort of top tips do you have for them?
I think just be yourself, really. Because I think, all these things makes us individual, and, it makes us interesting. You've asked me to be on here because you find the mix of things I do interesting. I just sort of say, go for it. And I think ultimately, when you put yourself out there, you're going to get some negativity, you're going to get positivity as well. But if for some reason people don't want to work with you because you do a certain thing or you look a certain way, in my opinion, they're probably not the clients for you. I mean, I don't want to work with anybody who would be like that. I just think, have the confidence to be yourself, because I think it will serve you really well.
Wonderful stuff. I think that's probably a great place to finish that off. I think that's some excellent information there. And Rachel, if people wanted to get in touch with you, say you mentioned various social media links there and the project that obviously you're working on at the moment. If people want to get hold of you, how do they do that?
I've actually just set up a website, which I put live yesterday. So that's cceeinvestments.com. You can get in touch with me on there, or probably the CCE Investments Instagram is probably the best one. My personal one, I've got so many people on that I don't often see the messages. Either on my website, I've got the email address from there and things. Or in the CCE Investments Instagram. And then I've got the YouTube as well if you want to follow along with the property journey and investing.
Fantastic stuff. And as usual, we will put all of those links into the show notes as well. I just want to highlight that CCE Investments is CSEE, not CC. The letters. But again, all of that will be in the show notes as well. Rachel, any final words of wisdom for being part of this series, and for anyone listening out there? Any final words of wisdom?
I just say I I really believe that we can achieve anything if we put our mindset to it. So yeah, just go for it. Don't let anything stop you. Share what you're doing. I think social media is a fantastic way to connect with other people. And yeah, just really, really drive the business forward. But yeah, ultimately just believe in yourself, do lots of self-education, and yeah, just go for it.
Awesome stuff. Well, it'd be great to have you back on in due course to find out how this project's gone. And Rachel, just thank you for sharing your time, your successes, and showing that anyone can break through any barriers, regardless of what background or things that they do in life. So thank you for taking the time and sharing all that.
That's okay. Thank you so much for having me.